You just inherited a huge collection of postcards from a family member. They left no instructions on what to do with them. What do you do? Hey everyone, John from Popeye's Postcards. First, if you were watching this video because this fits you, that you just had a loss of a loved one, a family member, and you just inherited a huge amount of postcards and you have no idea what to do. First, I'm sorry for your loss. I know it's probably a very emotional time and could be overwhelming, especially if your loved one's collection, looks like what's behind me. But don't worry, hopefully by watching this video, at least give you some information, at least, how to proceed. And hopefully you haven't thrown them away and you're finding this after the fact. That's the number one thing, is don't throw postcards away. I've heard that so many times throughout the last 26 years of selling postcards. Oh, I didn't know postcards were valuable. Grandma had a huge collect. Oh, we just threw it away because they were just old, stupid little pieces of paper. We didn't think anybody would want them, that they weren't valuable. I actually kind of cover this in a guide that I put together on everything you'd ever want to know about selling postcards. That you go into, Grandma and Grandpa's house after they've passed and there's money there. I mean, obviously, it's money. And that is worth something. There's gold coins in there. You may not know what the current price of a gold coin is, but gold is valuable. Same thing here. You may not know everything there is to know about baseball cards, but baseball cards can be valuable. And, there's a second year or first year Mickey Mantle card in this and all these other Hall of Famers. There's value here. You may not know what it is, but you've heard the stories of a $1 million baseball collection being found in, Uncle Joe's attic. What happens if you go to Grandma's house and there's a box of postcards? There aren't really any postcard stores out there. How do you know if they're valuable? And again, I hear this all the time. We didn't know they were valuable, so we threw them away. Kind of determine what you have. If it's just an album that's been passed down generation to generation, it's going to be maybe, something like this. Old album says Postcards. These are empty, but they look like that, little slots for the postcards. And if it is something like this, it's, maybe these were your great-great-grandmother's cards, and then that passed to your grandma, and then to your mom, whomever. And, I've run into these albums like this before where the front of the album is maybe grandma's or great-grandma's collection. It's cards from the 1910s or earlier. And then maybe your mom picked it up in 1950s. And then you can see some of those later chrome cards that they've added to the family postcard album. I hope in that case, if there's family sentimental value, I hope you keep it. Really, keep it. If you need the money, then let's talk here later in this video about what to do. Maybe your family member was a more, serious collector, and everything is in archival boxes, and all the cards inside are in these top loaders, or they're in an archival album in the plastic pages. Maybe your relative is a postcard dealer, and again, they have boxes, these white boxes like you see behind me and over here, with lids on them, and they're priced. Maybe they had an antique mall, and all the cards were from their antique mall, and you had to clear that out after they passed. So you could run into a whole bunch of different scenarios, and each one is probably different how you want to go about liquidating them, get rid of them. Hopefully your family member has left instructions of what they want done with their collection. And if you are still alive and you're watching this thinking, yeah, hey, my time is running short, I need to find out what I'm going to do with my collection, hopefully, if you're in that boat, you've identified someone in your family who has shown an interest in your collection. You already have plans that maybe if none of your family members want it, and I hear that all the time is from dealers, is that I'm going to sell these because my family doesn't care about them. I joke that my wife, upon my passing, is going to take these out into the backyard and set them on fire. So if you are still alive and kicking and you want to get rid of your postcard collection, have a plan. Have that written down in your will. Voice that to a family member. But right now, you know the best way to sell off your collection if that's what you want to do. You know what? Sell it all at auction. Contact a fellow dealer. Take that money, go out to Vegas and blow it on slot machines. And you've enjoyed your collection. How enjoy the money? Hopefully more than what you've put into it. Enjoy that money. But have some sort of plan. I bought a Million Aviation airplane postcards a couple years ago. And the story with that is the kid who I bought it from, he was in his 20s. His grandfather, it was his collection. That's what's behind me. And it was a million postcards, and here, grandson, this is your future. Grandson gets it. He starts working on it, but it's overwhelming. And he ends up selling it for what he can get out of it. I consider myself a professional postcard seller. On that million cards, I'm not even a third of a way through, and I've been working on it for 2.5 years. It's going to take me another 2 years to get all those cards processed and listed. So that's a heck of a burden to put on a family member who doesn't want to do anything with postcards. So again, what do you want to do with these cards? What's your plan? Again, I hope you keep them. I hope you're a younger person and you're like, yeah, I think, Grandpa's collection was pretty cool. I enjoyed looking through it with him, and I'm going to keep this collection and I'm going to carry on with it. Perfect. I hope you do that. You can stop watching the video right now and welcome to the wonderful world of postcards. Or you can donate them. If you're alive and you're like, hey, I want to donate my collection to someone. You're not looking for any more money from them. You just want to share your passion of postcards of your topic or whatever you collected with other people. Well, hopefully you've again made a plan to donate them. But there's some things you should probably be cautioned about with donation. First, it also depends on what you have. If your family member collected Superstition Mountain continental size postcards, and they have a wonderful, huge collection of 500 Superstition Mountain postcards, maybe your family member was the only person in the world who collected Superstition Mountain postcards. And you're going to say, well, but hey, I found the eBay receipt and he and another person were bidding back and forth and Grandpa won this card for $100. It's worth $100 to your grandfather and maybe the other person who they were bidding against. But maybe that other person they were bidding against has also passed away or has already collected. They found another copy of the Superstition Mountain postcard that they was willing to pay $98 for, and now this card is $2 to someone else. So even though your grandfather had a really great collection of these cards, they may not be valuable. And he says, well, I want my postcards donated. And maybe he didn't leave instructions of where to donate them, but you contact, I'm not even sure where Superstition Mountain is, Arizona. You live in Arizona and you go to a library in Arizona and say, here's my grandfather's 1,000 postcards of Superstition Mountain. The library may go, hey, thank you very much for the donation. Here's your receipt for taxes. And they don't care. I mean, they may care, but these aren't going to be sitting on the shelves at the local library for everybody to look at. They may digitize them, but after they digitize them, they may throw these away, or they'll show up at the library book sale for $10 for the box. Years ago, I purchased a huge 7 pallets. It filled up back of a moving truck of dental books. And as I went through this collection, I found numerous copies of a dental book. And you open it up, and this was from dentist so-and-so. This was from dentist so-and-so. Different dentists had collected these books and had them in their personal libraries over the years. They've passed on, and maybe in their will, it was like, hey, donate this, upon my death, donate this to the Baltimore County Dental Library. And the dental library already has 5 copies of this book. They don't need another one, and they're just going to lot them up and get rid of them. So if you go the donation route, say if it's a small town and your grandfather or grandmother had a real photo postcard of the town at 1910s, just a great collection of postcards from that specific town, and the town has an historical association or society, you might want to reach out to them. They'd probably be very appreciative of receiving those cards, and chances are they would be displayed for others in that town to enjoy. Or if they have extra copies, maybe they will sell them to make money for the continuation of the historical society, or obtaining other collections. So that's an idea. Just do a Google search, local historical society or association for the town that you or your grandparents live in. Or if your family's collection is World War I troop transport ships, there might not be a whole bunch of people out there that want World War I troop transport ships. So contact, a war museum. If your grandfather served on a submarine in World War II and he collected submarine postcards, there's a submarine museum in Hawaii. Maybe contact them. So you just got to find out what they concentrated on, and then if you can find a museum, maybe that museum is interested in that collection. You have to decide, or at least evaluate, what kind of condition these cards are in. Were they kept, again, in archival boxes, stored properly, or were they just thrown in a box in the basement and it's now moldy and musty smell? Maybe they were kept out in the barn and covered in animal and bird droppings. I've seen cards like that too. Wonderful, beautiful cards, if they weren't covered in mouse poop. Do they smell? Was your grandparent a smoker? That can get into the card, and it could affect the resale value. If they had an album like I just showed you, are the cards glued in? Are they written on? Are they taped in? And if you try to remove the tape, it removes some of the paper. Great for sitting down with other family members at a family reunion and looking through the family postcard album. But if you've decided to sell them, that's really going to affect the value that you could get for them. So you've decided that, I have pretty good cards that I inherited, that I definitely want to sell them. So now you got to determine, how do you want to sell them? The best way, if you want to make the most money, but it's going to take the most time, sell them yourself. But I don't know the first thing about postcards. Well, you found me. I love talking about postcards, and I do have like a 25-part guide that tells you start to finish everything you've wanted to know about selling postcards for profit. I'll link that. It is a paid membership, $4.99 a month. You could blow through all of those videos in a week, and then you could cancel, and you are now on your way to making a good living selling postcards. Another way you could sell them is contact your local auction house. There's things you need to be on the lookout for when dealing with an auction house. Auction house is going to take a commission. They most charge a buyer's premium, where the person who buys it pays the price of the auction, say $100, but then the auction house tacks on 15 to 30% that the buyer has to pay on top of the hammer price. But they also charge a seller's premium. I've seen, I mean, it could be anywhere between, some places may not have any. And if you go to the auction house, they will have a list. They will tell you what the seller's premium is. I've seen it up to 50% if an item doesn't sell for X amount of money. So at the very least, you're going to be probably giving away 15 to 30% of the hammer price. That's how an auction company makes their money. And then, is it, Country Joe Bob's Backwood Country Auction, that it's, one Saturday a year, and they have no online presence, and they don't ship. You're there, you win it, you pick it up, you don't see any pictures online, and they may not know anything at all about postcards. So there are several sites that I'm going to show you that you can find a local auction company that deals in postcards. The site that I always go to is AuctionZip when I'm looking to buy postcards, is AuctionZip. You can just type in postcard collection, postcard, your zip, and you can narrow it down to like 30 miles. And what you want to look for, and I'm just going to, I have no affiliation with AuctionZip. I have no affiliation, at least with one of the auction companies I'm going to show you. I'm just using them as an example of what you need to look for when deciding on an auction company to sell your family's collection. I just picked this one out. I actually was bidding on some of these cards, but they went for really, really great money. And it looks like whoever is selling has had a really great collection. It's not 500 Superstition Mountain postcards. It's different colored Santas. It's Halloween. It looks like a really cool album that brought $2,000 with a whole bunch of other cards. They take great pictures. They show pretty good. I don't show them all, but they show enough to show you that there were some really nice Santa Clauses in this collection. And they knew enough that this was artist signed Cole Phillips and followers. So this auction company either knew a lot about postcards, or whoever turned in this collection for sale had really good notes of what postcards were in these lots. And this auction company, they ship. They may ship worldwide. If it's Jim Bob Country Auction that doesn't ship anywhere, you're not going to get a buyer from, China that is willing to pay, $1,000 for a postcard lot and then say another $400 in shipping to get it to them. So they have mass appeal throughout the United States and probably a good following. And they're known for bringing quality postcard auctions. There's also High Bid, another auction site. I'm not picking on any auction sites, but how many are they taking good photos, or are they taking one photo of a handful of cards and just say postcard collection, and there's actually 5,000 postcards, but they took one picture and it's a picture of a common card. So if you're taking it to an auction company, Joe Bob's Country Auction, maybe put little stick-it notes. Say, hey, take a picture of this page of postcards, and maybe that's where all the colored robed Santas are, or the really great real photos of train depots. Another thing to consider with selling your postcards through an auction house is they may not want to flood the market. If you bring them 20,000 postcards, they may only want to put 5,000 cards up at a time so they don't flood the market. And now over the next weeks, months, maybe even a year, they're slowly putting out your parents' collection or whatever, and you're only getting, $1,000 every week or month or however it is. So just some things to consider if you look at the auction house route. Another option is selling to a dealer, reaching out to a dealer and saying, hey, whoever died, they left me this postcard collection. I don't want to sell it myself. I would like the money now. I don't want to wait for an auction house to sell it over months and months and months and take 30%, 40% commission. I want to get rid of them now. So, go to a postcard show. And I'm going to link this. There's postcard shows at least every month all over the United States. Maybe there's one, next to you. You don't have to load your whole postcard collection into your vehicle. Maybe take some pictures, take a video, bring an album or two, a box or so, at least giving the dealers an idea of what you have. And just to let you know, those white boxes, those are usually about 800 postcards. If they're all in these top loaders, it might be 500 or 600. You can also go to a postcard club, and I'm going to link these below. There's postcard clubs all throughout the United States. Same thing, you don't have to take them all, but take enough to show the dealer what you have and, talk to them. If your family member had just an incredible collection of real photo postcards and there's 100-some boxes, and your grandparents or whoever left notes that do not sell these for less than $5 to $10 each. Truthfully, there's probably a handful of dealers in the United States that have $40,000 to $50,000 in cash that can pay you right on the spot. There aren't many. I know most of them, but they're just not too many out there. I'm going to give you my contact information. My email is going to be below. If you're within several hundred miles of Maryland, I hope you reach out to me. Give me first crack at it. But if you don't, I understand, because I'm really small potatoes in comparison to some people, and I don't have $40,000 to $50,000 in cash laying around for postcard collections. If your family member was a dealer or had their boxes in an antique mall and it's general postcards, I think most dealers may only pay a quarter or less per card average, maybe $100 a box, maybe $200 a box. If they have a whole box of non-red coat Santas, blue, purple, green, whatever, they may buy them at $5 a card, or of Halloween, or a whole collection of Alphonse Mucha cards. They may pay up to $50 or so per card. But again, there aren't many dealers out there that I'm aware of that have that much disposable cash. But a postcard dealer who buys the collection, may not give you all that money you're going to get by selling them yourself or at the auction house, but they're going to take them all off your hands quickly. I think that's it. So again, have a plan, whether you want to sell them yourself, donate them, contact a dealer, contact a auction house. If it's your collection, just have that written down. Let your family members know what you want done with your collection. So again, keep me in mind. Popeye's Postcards at AOL.com. If I can't buy them, I'm sure I know enough people over my 26 years in this hobby that I can lead you in the right direction to someone who can. So thank you for watching.